The Celestial Bond. The research outpost on Helios 7 was never meant to be anything more than a footnote in humanity's expansion across the stars. Perched on the edge of known space, it was a lonely collection of environmental domes and scientific equipment, home to 12 researchers who monitored the unusual quantum anomalies in this sector. For Dr. Thea Blackwood, it was both exile and sanctuary. She stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling purple nebula that dominated the sky. Her reflection in the reinforced glass showed a woman in her early 30s, with close-cropped black hair and the perpetual furrow between her brows that came from spending too much time with complex equations. 3 years ago, her controversial theories about sentient cosmic entities had made her a laughingstock in the scientific community. Now, those same theories had landed her here, at the farthest reach of human civilization. The quantum scanner beeped, pulling her attention away from the view. The readings were off the charts again, showing energy patterns that defied known physics. Thea's hands flew across the holographic interface, trying to isolate the source. Dr. Blackwood, the station's AI, chimed in, "There's an anomalous object approaching the station. Mass and energy signatures exceed anything in our database." Thea's heart raced as she accessed the external cameras. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. A massive creature, easily the size of 3 cargo ships, was gliding through space toward the station. Its body resembled that of an ancient dragon from Earth mythology, but its scales seemed to be made of living starlight. Streams of cosmic energy flowed around it like water, and its eyes were pools of liquid galaxies. "Don't alert the others," Thea commanded the AI, her voice barely a whisper. "Not yet." The creature was wounded. Even from this distance, she could see the dark void-like gash across its side, leaking what looked like stellar matter. It moved with obvious pain, each undulation through space leaving a trail of crystallized energy. Against every protocol and common sense, Thea made her decision. She grabbed her emergency suit and research kit, heading for the airlock. The creature had already noticed the station and was circling it slowly, like a wounded whale seeking help. "Dr. Blackwood, this action violates 17 different safety protocols," the AI warned. "Log that I'm conducting emergency field research," she replied, securing her helmet. "And keep the others in their quarters. I don't want anyone panicking." The airlock cycled, and Thea pushed off into space. Her suit's thrusters guided her toward the massive being. Up close, its scales were even more magnificent, each one contained what looked like a miniature galaxy, swirling with stars and cosmic dust. The creature's head turned toward her, and those ancient eyes fixed upon her tiny form. Instead of fear, Thea felt an overwhelming sense of recognition. The being was in pain, yes, but it was also curious. Intelligent. She raised her hands in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. The dragon being's consciousness brushed against her mind like a gentle wave. Images flooded her thoughts, a battle among the stars, weapons that tore through space-time itself, a desperate escape. This being, Vikros, it shared its name, was a fugitive from something ancient and terrible. "I want to help," Thea thought back, projecting images of healing, of sanctuary. Vikros's massive head moved closer, until one of its eyes was level with her entire body. The eye alone was bigger than the shuttle she used for short-range exploration. At this distance, she could see entire solar systems reflected in its pupil. Thea reached out, her gloved hand touching the scaled surface beside the creature's eye. The moment of contact sent a shock through her entire body. Energy coursed through her suit's systems, making them flicker and spark. But more than that, she felt the connection form, a bridge between their minds that transcended mere telepathy. In that instant, she understood what Vikros was, what all its kind were. They weren't just living creatures, they were conscious manifestations of cosmic forces, beings that helped shape the very fabric of spacetime. And they were being hunted to extinction by those who sought to harness their power. The wound in Vicrose's side was no accident. It had been inflicted by weapons designed specifically to harm its kind, wielded by a force that had appointed itself the authority over all cosmic power in the galaxy, the Galactic Hegemony. Through their newfound connection, Thea could feel Vicrose's pain. The wound wasn't just physical, it was disrupting the being's connection to the cosmic forces it naturally channeled. Without help, it would eventually fade from existence, its power dispersing back into the universe. I know someone who can help, Thea projected, thinking of Dr. Reiner, the station's quantum physician. Though they'd never treated anything like Vicrose, their understanding of quantum medicine might be the key to healing such a unique being. But before she could act on this thought, space itself seemed to tear open around them. 3 massive ships emerged from hyperspace, their designs marking them as hegemony vessels. Their weapons were already charging, targeting systems locked onto Vicrose. Unauthorized human, a voice boomed through her suit's comm system, you are in violation of Statute 7249, interference with cosmic entities. Stand down immediately or face termination. Thea's mind raced. She knew what the hegemony did to those who defied them. But she also knew, with a certainty that came from her connection with Vicrose, that surrendering meant death for them both. The decision was made in an instant. Through their bond, she shared her intention with Vicrose. The cosmic dragon's response was immediate, its massive form curled around her protectively as streams of stellar energy began to gather around them both. The hegemony ships opened fire, but they were too late. In a burst of light that temporarily outshone the nebula itself, Thea and Vicrose vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a very confused research station and a very angry hegemony fleet. As they traveled through the quantum realm, Thea felt her consciousness expanding through her connection with Vicrose. She saw the universe as the cosmic dragons saw it, not just the physical space, but the underlying currents of energy that connected everything. And she understood that her life would never be the same. Whatever came next, she knew 2 things with absolute certainty: the hegemony would never stop hunting them, and the bond she shared with Vicrose was only the beginning of something much larger than either of them. The question was, were they ready for what that meant? The answer would have to wait. For now, they flew between the stars, fugitives and partners, carrying with them a secret that could either save the galaxy or tear it apart. Shadows of Authority. The Hegemony Central Command was a masterpiece of engineering, a massive space station carved into an ancient asteroid, its corridors lined with dark metal that absorbed light rather than reflected it. In the highest chamber, Supreme Archon Nexus stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, his crystalline form pulsing with barely contained rage. "You mean to tell me," he said, his voice resonating through the chamber like breaking glass, "that not only did we fail to capture the rogue cosmic dragon, but it has now bonded with a human?" The reporting officer, Commander Vex, tried not to flinch. Her insectoid features remained carefully neutral as she delivered the rest of her report. "The human is Dr. Thea Blackwood, formerly of the Earth Science Academy. Our intelligence suggests she was already theorizing about the true nature of cosmic dragons before this encounter." Nexus's crystalline body shifted colors, from deep purple to a dangerous red. "She knows too much already. This bond must be severed before they discover the full truth about what we've done to the cosmic dragons over the millennia." The holographic display shifted, showing footage of Thea and Vicrose's escape. The way the cosmic dragon had curled protectively around the human, the burst of power that had allowed them to escape, it was unprecedented. In all the hegemony's long history of controlling and harvesting the cosmic dragons, none had ever formed such a connection with a mortal being. "Deploy the Void Hunters," Nexus commanded. "And activate our sleeper agents in every port and colony in the sector. I want them found." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Thea and Vicrose emerged from hyperspace in a remote system known as the Whispering Void. It was a place where reality ran thin, where the normal rules of space and time held little sway. The perfect hiding place for fugitives like them. Through their strengthening bond, Thea could feel Vicrose's pain lessening. The cosmic energy that made up its being was slowly healing the wound, but something still felt wrong. Like a poison lingering in the system. The weapon they used, Thea thought to her companion, it was designed to do more than just wound you, wasn't it? Vicrose's response came in a flow of images and sensations. The hegemony's weapon had been crafted from the essence of fallen cosmic dragons, corrupted and turned against their own kind. It was meant to not just harm, but to enslave, to break the will of cosmic dragons and bind them to the hegemony's control. They found refuge in the corona of a dying star, its electromagnetic storms providing cover from scanning systems. Here, Thea began to understand more about her companion's true nature. Cosmic dragons weren't just living beings, they were conscious embodiments of universal forces, helping to maintain the very fabric of reality. The hegemony had spent thousands of years hunting them, capturing them, and using their power to maintain their grip on the galaxy. But why me? Thea asked through their bond. Why form this connection? The answer came not in words or images, but in a deep understanding that bloomed in her mind. Humans, despite their short lives and limited perception, had something unique, an ability to adapt, to change, to see patterns that other species missed. Vicrose had been drawn to her not just because of her willingness to help, but because she had already begun to understand the truth about cosmic dragons before they even met. Their moment of revelation was interrupted by a warning pulse through their bond. 3 ships had just dropped out of hyperspace, Void Hunters, the hegemony's elite trackers. Their ships were small and quick, designed specifically for pursuing and capturing cosmic dragons. They found us too quickly, Thea realized. They must have some way of tracking our bond. They fled deeper into the star's corona, but the Void Hunters followed, their ships protected by shields reverse-engineered from captured cosmic dragons. Energy weapons lanced through space, each shot containing the corrupted essence that could harm Vicrose. In desperation, Thea reached deeper into their bond, letting her consciousness merge more fully with Vicrose's vast awareness. Together, they could perceive the underlying quantum strings of reality, the flows of cosmic energy that connected all things. And in that expanded awareness, Thea saw something that changed everything. The Void Hunters' weapons and shields weren't just powered by cosmic dragon essence, they were powered by still-living dragons, their consciousness trapped and tortured, forced to turn their power against their own kind. The revelation filled her with horror and rage. Through their bond, Vicrose shared another truth: this was why their connection was so dangerous to the hegemony. A human who could truly understand and communicate with cosmic dragons could expose their entire operation, could potentially even find a way to free the captured dragons. A blast from the Void Hunters struck too close, sending them tumbling through space. Vicrose's pain lanced through their bond, and Thea knew they couldn't keep running forever. They needed allies, resources, and most importantly, they needed to understand more about their unique bond. The archive, Vicrose's thoughts came clearly now. We must reach the stellar archive. Images flowed through their bond, a hidden repository of knowledge, built by cosmic dragons eons ago and lost to time. If answers existed anywhere in the galaxy, they would be there. But reaching it would mean crossing half the galaxy through hegemony-controlled space. As another barrage of fire forced them to dive deeper into the star's burning plasma, Thea made her decision. They would find this archive, no matter the cost. Because now she understood, their bond wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about justice, about freedom, about righting an ancient wrong that had kept the galaxy in chains for thousands of years. They burst out of the other side of the star, using its gravitational field to slingshot them into hyperspace. The Void Hunters fell behind, but Thea knew this was just the beginning. The hegemony would never stop hunting them now. As they fled through the quantum realm, Thea began to plan. They would need help, allies who could shield them, resources to sustain their journey. But more than that, they would need to understand the true potential of their bond. Because somehow, she knew that the connection between a human scientist and a cosmic dragon might be the key to changing everything. Ancient Whispers. The neon-drenched spaceport of Nova Haven existed in the shadows between legality and chaos. Built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, it was a refuge for those who preferred to avoid the hegemony's attention. Thea pulled her hood lower as she made her way through the crowded marketplace, her connection with Vicros a constant presence in her mind. The cosmic dragon waited in the asteroid field outside the port, its massive form disguised by quantum distortions. Through their bond, Thea could feel its unease. They were taking a dangerous risk coming here, but they needed information about the stellar archive. Looking for something special, Groundwalker? A voice like wind chimes drew her attention. Behind a stall of questionable artifacts stood Arwael-9, a member of the ethereal whisper race. Their translucent form shifted colors as they spoke, a trait of their kind. Information, Thea replied quietly, sliding forward the crystal shard they had agreed upon as payment. About the old places. The ones that existed before the hegemony. Arwael-9's form pulsed with deep blues, curiosity and caution. Dangerous knowledge. More dangerous now that the hegemony's pets are sniffing around. Through their bond, Vicros suddenly tensed. Thea felt it too, a shift in the energy of the port. Void hunters. They must have tracked them here. But before she could retreat, Arwael-9 grabbed her arm. Their touch was like cool mist. Quick. The back room. The hidden chamber behind the stall was cramped but secure. Through a quantum-shielded viewport, Thea watched as 3 void hunters stalked past, their biomechanical armor making them look more machine than living being. "You're the one they're hunting," Arwael-9 observed. The human who bonded with the last free cosmic dragon. Their form shifted to deep purple, respect and awe. "The stories are already spreading through the quantum channels. We need to find the stellar archive," Thea said, deciding to trust them. "We think it holds answers about the true nature of our bond." Arwael-9's form rippled with golden light, excitement. "The archive isn't just a place. It's a nexus of cosmic dragon knowledge, hidden in the space between dimensions. But I know someone who might help you reach it. Someone who's been fighting the hegemony longer than most species have been spacefaring." That's how Thea found herself aboard the Quantum Drift, a ship captained by Jorix Ven, a being so ancient their original species was lost to time. Their body was a swirling mass of dark matter contained within an exosuit, and their knowledge of the galaxy's hidden paths was unmatched. "The archive exists in quantum flux," Jorix explained, their voice resonating from everywhere and nowhere at once. "But reaching it requires more than just coordinates. You need a key, a fusion of cosmic dragon energy and mortal consciousness. Which makes you and your companion uniquely qualified." Through their bond, Vicros shared its knowledge. The archive had been sealed away eons ago, when the hegemony first began hunting cosmic dragons. Its location was scattered across the quantum consciousness of all cosmic dragons, a parallel network that existed alongside normal spacetime. "But accessing it will draw attention," Jorix warned. "The hegemony monitors quantum fluctuations. They'll know the moment we try. Then we'll need a distraction," Thea said, an idea forming. Through their bond, she shared her plan with Vicros. The cosmic dragon's approval rippled through her consciousness like a wave of starlight. They spent 3 days gathering allies. Arwael-9 connected them with a network of resistance fighters, species who had suffered under hegemony rule and were willing to strike back. Jorix called in favors from beings who existed in the quantum shadows of the galaxy. When they made their move, it was simultaneously in a dozen different locations. While resistance cells attacked hegemony outposts across the sector, Thea and Vicros, aboard the Quantum Drift, prepared to pierce the veil between dimensions. The process was unlike anything Thea had experienced. Their bond deepened until she couldn't tell where her consciousness ended and Vicros's began. Together, they became a key that could unlock the quantum barriers hiding the archive. Space itself seemed to fold around them. The quantum drift shuddered as reality warped, guided by Jorex's expert navigation. Through the viewports, Thea saw impossible geometries, fragments of other dimensions bleeding through. But they weren't alone. The hegemony had predicted their move. A battle fleet emerged from hyperspace, led by a massive dreadnought. At its heart, Thea could feel the tortured presence of captured cosmic dragons, their power being channeled into weapons. "We're too close to turn back," Jorex announced as the first shots lit up space around them. "The quantum fold is already in progress." Through their bond, Thea and Vicros worked in perfect synchronization. While Vicros engaged the hegemony ships directly, its cosmic energy dancing through space like living lightning, Thea helped Jorex navigate the quantum currents leading to the archive. Reality buckled and twisted. The dreadnought's weapons fire warped through dimensional rifts, striking at them from impossible angles. But Vicros was ancient and clever, using the very distortions in spacetime to their advantage. In a moment that seemed to stretch into infinity, the quantum barriers parted. Through the rift, Thea saw it, the stellar archive, a massive structure that existed between dimensions, its architecture defying mortal understanding. Built from crystallized cosmic energy and quantum mathematics, it pulsed with the accumulated knowledge of cosmic dragons through the ages. As they made their final approach, Thea felt something else through their bond: recognition. The archive was responding to their presence, to the unique fusion of human and cosmic dragon consciousness that they represented. And in that response, she sensed both welcome and warning. The answers they sought were here, but so were secrets that the hegemony had killed to keep hidden. As the quantum drift docked with the archive's impossible structure, Thea knew they were about to discover truths that would change the galaxy forever. Revelation's Edge. The interior of the stellar archive defied conventional physics. Corridors shifted like liquid crystal, and information flowed through the air in streams of living light. Thea walked beside Jorex's hovering form, while Vicros's consciousness merged with the archive itself, its vast awareness spreading through the quantum architecture. "The archive is responding to your bond," Jorex observed, their dark matter form rippling with excitement. "It's opening pathways that have been sealed for millennia." Through their connection, Thea could feel Vicros processing vast amounts of information, the collected memory of cosmic dragons throughout history. But something was wrong. There were gaps, deliberate omissions that spoke of a darker truth. They reached the archive's core, a vast chamber that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Here, the very walls pulsed with stored knowledge, and time itself felt fluid and uncertain. As Thea stepped forward, holographic images sprang to life around them, telling a story that changed everything they thought they knew. The cosmic dragons hadn't always been solitary beings, flying alone through the vast spaces between stars. Once, they had been the guardians of reality itself, working together to maintain the delicate balance of cosmic forces. And they hadn't been alone. Ancient humans, far more advanced than their modern descendants, had worked alongside them as partners, their unique consciousness allowing them to bridge the gap between mortal and cosmic understanding. The hegemony didn't just hunt the cosmic dragons, Thea whispered as the truth became clear. They erased our shared history. More images flowed around them. The rise of the hegemony, orchestrated by beings who had discovered a way to harness and corrupt cosmic energy. The systematic hunting of cosmic dragons, the suppression of human advancement, the careful manipulation of countless species, all to maintain their grip on power. But the most shocking revelation came through their bond. Vicros shared a memory preserved in the archive, showing the true purpose of the human-dragon connection. Their bond wasn't just a random occurrence, it was the re-emergence of an ancient pattern, one that the hegemony had tried to prevent for thousands of years. Because together, we can do something they fear, Thea realized, the knowledge flowing through their bond. We can free the captured dragons. We can restore the balance. A sudden tremor shook the archive. Through their expanded awareness, they sensed multiple hegemony ships emerging from hyperspace, led by Supreme Archon Nexus himself. The crystalline being's rage radiated across space like a quantum storm. "They're deploying quantum disruptors," Jorix announced, their form condensing with concern. "They'll tear apart the dimensional barriers protecting the archive." But Thea was barely listening. Through their bond, she and Vicros were accessing the archive's deepest functions, understanding the true potential of their connection. The hegemony's power was based on the corrupted essence of captured cosmic dragons, but the human-dragon bond could resonate with that essence, could potentially break their control. "We need to get to their containment facilities," Thea said, the plan forming in both their minds simultaneously. "The main dreadnought, it's powered by captured dragons. If we can free them, it would start a chain reaction," Jorix finished, understanding dawning in their dark matter form. The freed dragons could help release others, breaking the hegemony's power structure at its foundation. Another blast rocked the archive. The dimensional barriers were failing. Through their bond, Thea felt Vicros's determination. They had one chance to act before the archive was destroyed, taking its crucial knowledge with it. "Jorix, can the quantum drift get us close to that dreadnought?" The ancient captain's form pulsed with what might have been a laugh. "Close enough to get us all killed, which I assume is exactly what you need." They ran for the ship as the archive's structure began to collapse around them. But they weren't running away, they were running towards something far more important. Through their bond, Thea and Vicros had glimpsed the future they could create, a galaxy where humans and cosmic dragons worked together again, maintaining the balance that the hegemony had disrupted for so long. As they boarded the quantum drift, Thea felt other presences stirring, the captured dragons in the hegemony's ships, sensing the potential for freedom. Their consciousness reached out to her and Vicros, drawn to the harmony of their bond. "The hegemony doesn't just fear us," Thea realized as they prepared for their desperate gambit. "They fear what we represent. The return of something they thought they had destroyed forever." The quantum drift lifted off as the archive began to fold in on itself, its dimensional structure collapsing. But they had what they needed: knowledge, purpose, and a chance to restore a balance that had been lost for millennia. Through their bond, Vicros shared a final insight from the archive. The human-dragon connection wasn't just about power or knowledge. It was about harmony, about bridging the gap between the cosmic and the mortal, the infinite and the finite. It was about seeing the universe not as something to control, but as something to protect and nurture. As they accelerated toward the hegemony dreadnought, Thea felt the weight of history behind them. They weren't just two beings fighting for survival anymore. They were the first step toward awakening something ancient and powerful, a partnership that could reshape the galaxy itself. Breaking chains. The hegemony dreadnought loomed before them like a dark star, its crystalline surface absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Inside its quantum core, Thea could feel the imprisoned cosmic dragons, their essence powering the massive ship's systems. Their pain resonated through her bond with Vicros, a constant reminder of what they were fighting to end. "They're powering up their main weapon," Jorix announced from the quantum drift's control center. "Whatever you're planning, it needs to happen now." Thea stood at the ship's quantum bridge, her consciousness merged more deeply with Vicros than ever before. The cosmic dragon flew alongside them, its massive form a blazing beacon of defiance against the hegemony's dark fleet. Through their bond, they had developed their desperate plan, risky, but with the potential to change everything. Supreme Archon Nexus's voice boomed across all frequencies, his crystalline tone sharp with rage. "Your interference ends here, human. You cannot comprehend the forces you're dealing with. The cosmic dragons must remain contained, or reality itself will unravel." "You're wrong," Thea broadcast back, letting her bond with Vicros amplify her words. "We found the truth in the archive. Reality isn't meant to be controlled, it's meant to be in harmony." The dragons weren't meant to be prisoners. They were meant to be partners. The dreadnought's weapon fired, a beam of corrupted cosmic energy that could tear apart spacetime itself. But Thea and Vikros were ready. Through their bond, they created something the hegemony had thought impossible, a perfect resonance between mortal consciousness and cosmic power. The beam struck Vikros, but instead of destroying the cosmic dragon, it created a connection. Through their shared consciousness, Thea and Vikros reached out to the imprisoned dragons whose essence powered the weapon. Their combined awareness flowed through the quantum channels the hegemony had built, turning their own technology against them. Inside the dreadnought, alarms blared as the imprisoned dragons began to wake. Their consciousness, dormant for so long, stirred with renewed purpose as they felt the harmony of the human-dragon bond. It was like a key unlocking chains that had bound them for millennia. Status report. Nexus demanded as his ship's systems began to fail. The quantum containment fields are collapsing, a officer reported, panic evident in their voice. The dragons, they're resonating with something. Some kind of harmonic pattern we've never seen before. Through their expanded awareness, Thea and Vikros guided the awakening dragons. The knowledge from the archive showed them how to break the corruption that had bound them, how to reclaim their true nature. One by one, the cosmic dragons broke free, their liberation sending cascading failures through the hegemony's fleet. But Supreme Archon Nexus wasn't finished. The crystalline being initiated an emergency protocol, channeling all remaining power into a desperate final attack. The dreadnought structure began to crack as it prepared to release all its stored cosmic energy in a single, devastating burst. He's going to destroy everything, Jorix warned. Including his own fleet. Thea felt Vikros' response through their bond, not fear, but determination. Together, they understood what needed to be done. The human-dragon bond wasn't just about power, it was about balance, about healing the rifts that the hegemony had created in the fabric of reality itself. As Nexus's dreadnought began to detonate, Thea and Vikros led the freed cosmic dragons in an ancient pattern, one preserved in the archive's memory. Their combined consciousness created a quantum matrix, a web of harmony that could contain and transform the corrupted energy. The explosion bloomed like a dark star, but instead of destroying everything in its path, it was caught in the dragon's quantum matrix. Through their bond, Thea guided the transformation, helping to purify the corrupted essence and return it to its natural state. The light was blinding, the energy overwhelming. For a moment, Thea felt as if her consciousness had expanded to encompass the entire sector of space. Through their bond, she and Vikros witnessed the miracle they had helped create, the healing of a wound in reality that had festered for thousands of years. When the light faded, the hegemony fleet was in ruins, their power source gone, their control broken. Supreme Archon Nexus's crystalline form had shattered, the being's essence dispersed into the quantum void. But more importantly, the freed cosmic dragons soared through space, their natural radiance restored. Through their bond, Thea felt Vikros' joy, echoed by their liberated kin. The dragons began to resume their ancient duties, helping to maintain the cosmic forces that kept reality in balance. But there was something new now, a reawakening of the old partnership between humans and cosmic dragons. It's just the beginning, Thea said to Jorix as they watched the dragons dance through space. The hegemony controlled so much of the galaxy. There will be chaos as their power crumbles. Chaos, Jorix's dark matter form rippled with amusement, or opportunity. The galaxy remembers the old ways, even if the hegemony tried to make us forget. And now they have a reminder of what's possible. Through their bond, Vikros shared a vision of the future, humans and cosmic dragons working together again, helping to guide the galaxy toward harmony rather than control. It wouldn't be easy. The hegemony's influence ran deep, and there were still those who would resist change. But as Thea looked out at the cosmic dragons soaring freely through space, she knew they had accomplished something unprecedented. They had broken chains that had bound the galaxy for millennia, and in doing so, they had opened the door to something new, a future where the cosmic and the mortal could exist in balance once again. The bond between her and Vikros hummed with shared purpose. Their journey wasn't ending, it was transforming into something greater. Together, they would help rebuild what the hegemony had tried to destroy, showing the galaxy that true power didn't come from control, but from harmony. As the quantum drift set course for the nearest inhabited system, Thea felt a deep sense of peace. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and now, at last, it was free to evolve as it was always meant to, not through domination, but through partnership, understanding, and the eternal dance between the finite and the infinite.